Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen announcing their divorce is now final, ending 13 years of marriage. What both of them said today and what Brady said this week about finishing out this season.
Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings, endless money, and a legacy nobody can erase. People call him the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football field. But none of that protected him from the moment that hit harder than any loss in sports history. On December 20th, 2025, the world found out that his ex-wife, Gisele Bündchen, had quietly married another man in a private Florida ceremony. And right after that news exploded online, Brady posted something that instantly had fans worried. He shared a song called 1-800-273-8255, named after the National Mental Health Crisis Hotline. One lyric stood out above everything else. "I feel like my life is not mine." Then the next day, Brady uploaded a selfie wearing his Forever Young hoodie with a short caption that simply said, "Yup." That one word sent the internet into chaos. Was he hurt? Angry? Trying to act unbothered while his world cracked behind the scenes? Nobody really knew. But people close to the situation say this moment did not come out of nowhere. Years before the divorce, Gisele had already warned him exactly where their marriage was heading, and Brady admitted he kept that warning locked away in a drawer like a ghost from the past. Back in 2020, during an interview with Howard Stern, Brady revealed something deeply personal. Gisele had written him a letter, and it was not romantic at all. It was a brutal wake-up call. In that letter, she reportedly told him their marriage only worked for one person, him. Brady admitted hearing that truth hit him hard. Gisele felt abandoned inside her own relationship. While Brady chased championships, trophies, endorsements, and business deals, she felt stuck carrying the emotional weight of the household almost completely alone. She reportedly felt like a single mother raising their children while her husband lived inside the non-stop machine of football. Every year it was the same cycle. Early workouts, endless film sessions, road trips, training camps, interviews, sponsorships. Then when football finally stopped, another business opportunity started right away. There was always another meeting, another project, another commitment pulling him away from home. Gisele eventually reached a point where she felt invisible inside her own marriage. And according to Brady himself, she made it painfully clear in that letter that she had dreams too. She had sacrificed more than most people realized. At the height of her modeling career, she stepped back to support Brady's life and career. She moved cities, rebuilt routines, put her own ambitions on pause year after year. Meanwhile, Brady kept climbing higher and higher in the sports world, while the distance between them quietly grew bigger behind closed doors. Brady later admitted he still kept that letter in a drawer and reread it sometimes. He said it reminded him of what he almost lost. But looking back now, fans believe the heartbreaking truth is much darker than that. He did not almost lose his marriage. He actually lost it completely. Because even after the counseling sessions, emotional conversations, and promises to change, Brady was already preparing to make a decision that would destroy the fragile trust they had rebuilt. And that decision changed everything forever. The moment came in early 2022. After 22 NFL seasons and 7 Super Bowl championships, Brady finally announced his retirement from football. At 44 years old, he said it was time to focus on other parts of life that needed his attention. For Gisele, this was the moment she had waited years for. She celebrated publicly on Instagram and spoke about being excited for the next chapter of their lives together. After years of feeling second place to football, it finally seemed like her husband was choosing family first. But that happiness barely lasted over a month. Exactly 40 days later, Brady shocked the sports world by announcing he was returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for another season. Fans were stunned, but insiders say nobody felt more blindsided than Gisele. This was not just about football anymore, it was about broken promises. According to reports at the time, the couple had discussed retirement extensively. They had planned their future together. Gisele believed they were finally moving into a new phase of life as partners and parents. Then suddenly, Brady changed everything on his own. One insider reportedly said Gisele felt exhausted by constantly coming second to his career. Another claimed she was not angry that he loved football, but deeply hurt by how he handled the situation and reversed such a major family decision without fully considering the emotional damage it would cause. As the 2022 season started, people around Brady noticed something was seriously off. Even though he was physically present, mentally he seemed somewhere completely different. In August, Brady mysteriously stepped away from training camp for 11 days due to personal reasons. Nobody explained what was really happening, but rumors exploded immediately. By September, reports claimed Brady and Gisele were living separately. Divorce lawyers were allegedly involved. The marriage that once looked untouchable was collapsing in public view. Former assistant coach Tom Moore later described seeing Brady during this period, and what he witnessed shocked people. According to Moore, Brady looked like a man emotionally unraveling right in front of everyone. The quarterback, known for extreme discipline and fitness, reportedly lost nearly 20 pounds. His face looked thinner. Exhaustion covered him. The energy that once made him look unstoppable suddenly seemed gone. One moment especially haunted people inside the locker room. After a game, Brady reportedly sat in full uniform at his locker, leaned forward with his head between his legs, and stayed there silently for almost 20 minutes. No talking, no movement, no interaction with teammates or coaches walking by. For a man known as one of the fiercest competitors in sports history, the image felt heartbreaking. People around him started realizing this was not just pressure from football anymore. This was a man watching his personal life fall apart while the entire world watched through cameras and headlines. Meanwhile, photographers constantly captured new signs that the marriage was ending. Gisele appeared in public without her wedding ring. The couple stopped being seen together. Every tabloid pushed fresh stories about what went wrong behind closed doors. Brady briefly touched on the situation during his podcast appearances, speaking vaguely about life challenges and balancing responsibilities. But he never directly addressed the emotional storm everyone could already see happening around him. Then came the final blow. On October 28, 2022, Brady and Gisele officially finalized their divorce after 13 years of marriage. The process moved incredibly fast because of their prenup and already arranged custody agreements. Both released respectful public statements focused on protecting their children. Brady described the situation as painful and difficult. Gisele stayed measured and calm publicly, but the deeper truth behind the breakup was still hidden at that point. That changed months later when Gisele finally decided to speak openly about the marriage and the emotional damage behind the scenes. In March 2023, Gisele appeared on the cover of Vanity Fair for her first major interview after the divorce, and she did not stay silent. First, she directly shut down the rumor that she forced Brady into retirement with some "football or me" ultimatum. Gisele called that story the craziest thing she had heard, and said it deeply hurt her to see people believe it. According to her, the truth was far more painful and complicated than a simple ultimatum. She explained that when they first met, they wanted the same future: a family, stability, a life together. But over time, their priorities slowly drifted apart until they were no longer moving in the same direction. It was not one explosive argument that destroyed the marriage. It was years of emotional distance building quietly little by little until they barely recognized the relationship anymore. Then came the statement that really shocked people. When asked about rumors linking her to Joaquim Valenti before the divorce, Gisele strongly denied cheating accusations. She said, "That is a lie." She also spoke about how women are often blamed when they choose to leave relationships that no longer feel healthy or supportive. That word immediately grabbed headlines everywhere: unhealthy. People debated it non-stop online because it completely changed the public image many had about Brady and their marriage. For years, they were viewed as the perfect celebrity power couple. Suddenly, fans started realizing how much pain may have existed behind the glamorous photos and public appearances. Later, during an emotional interview with Robin Roberts, Gisele described the divorce as the death of a dream. She became visibly emotional while talking about it and struggled to continue speaking for a moment. That reaction told people everything. This was not somebody casually walking away from a marriage without love. This was somebody grieving the future she believed they were supposed to have together. She had stood beside Brady through championships, public pressure, constant moves, media chaos, and non-stop sacrifices. Every time football demanded more from him, she adjusted her life around it. Every time his career changed direction, she followed. But eventually, according to her own words, she realized she could not continue losing herself trying to save a relationship that no longer gave her the same support back. And that may be the saddest part of this entire story. Not that love disappeared overnight, but that two people who once wanted the exact same future slowly became strangers while chasing completely different versions of happiness. Gisele Bündchen later told Vanity Fair something that surprised a lot of people. Even after the divorce, the pain, and all the public drama, she said if there was one person she wanted to see truly happy in this world, it was Tom Brady. She said she still wanted all his dreams to come true. That one statement spoke volumes about her character. There was no bitterness in her voice, no revenge energy, no public attack campaign. She had simply accepted that their story was over and moved on toward a different life. And that new life was everything she reportedly wanted for years: peaceful, private, family-centered, and emotionally honest. Most importantly, people around her said she finally felt seen again. But while Gisele was quietly building a new future, Brady was heading toward a moment that would completely shake him emotionally in a way nobody expected: the roast that backfired badly. In May 2024, Brady agreed to participate in a massive Netflix roast special. On paper, it looked harmless. Celebrities do roasts all the time. The whole point is to laugh at yourself while comedians throw jokes your way. Fans expected it to be funny, chaotic, and entertaining. Instead, it became one of the most uncomfortable moments of Brady's entire public life. One comedian after another took shots at his divorce. They joked about Gisele moving on with her jiu-jitsu instructor, Joaquim Valente. They mocked his family situation in front of millions of viewers watching worldwide. Brady smiled through it on camera because there was really nothing else he could do. He signed up for the event. He tried to act like everything rolled off his shoulders. But behind the scenes, the fallout hit much harder than anybody realized. The next morning changed everything. When Brady spoke with his children after the roast aired, the conversation reportedly crushed him emotionally. His kids had seen clips online. They had heard strangers turning private family pain into entertainment. And according to Brady, they asked him something he could not answer. What was the point of that? Why did you do that, Dad? That question reportedly hit harder than any criticism from the media ever could. How do you explain to your children that you willingly sat there while people joked about their family falling apart? How do you tell them you thought it would all be harmless fun when it clearly hurt them deeply? For maybe the first time publicly, Brady looked like a man who genuinely did not know what to say. Months later, during a podcast appearance, he finally admitted how painful that moment was. He said hearing his children's reaction felt like a stake through the heart. Coming from Tom Brady, those words carried serious weight. This is somebody who built his entire image around mental toughness, discipline, and emotional control. Brady rarely shows weakness publicly, rarely cracks, rarely admits regret. But in that moment, people saw a completely different side of him. Not the football legend, not the champion, just a father realizing his choices had consequences far beyond the football field. He later apologized privately to Gisele for allowing jokes about her during the roast, but by then the emotional damage had already been done. The special forced Brady to confront questions he had avoided for years. Questions about sacrifice, questions about priorities, questions about whether the cost of greatness was ultimately too high. For over 2 decades, football consumed nearly every part of his life. Holidays revolved around NFL schedules. Family time often came second to training, recovery, film study, or preparation. Brady reportedly began reflecting on all the moments he missed while chasing perfection. And for the first time, people close to him say he started seriously wondering whether all the rings and records were worth the personal damage left behind. Meanwhile, Gisele's life was moving in a completely different direction. In February 2025, news broke that Gisele had welcomed a baby boy with Joaquim Valente. At 44 years old, she had started an entirely new chapter with a growing family and a calmer lifestyle far away from the non-stop pressure that once defined her marriage to Brady. Then things became even more official later that year. On December 3, 2025, Gisele and Joaquim quietly got married during a private ceremony at their home in Surfside, Florida. No giant celebrity spectacle, no massive media circus, just family, privacy, and peace. And people immediately noticed the contrast between this relationship and the life she previously had with Brady. Her new marriage appeared grounded in simplicity and emotional balance rather than fame, schedules, and constant public pressure. What made the situation even more emotional was the fact Brady reportedly already knew about the wedding beforehand. This was not some shocking surprise dropped on him overnight. He had time to process it privately. But according to insiders, the wedding still symbolized something painful, the final closing of the door on any fantasy that he and Gisele might someday reunite. By then, their lives could not have looked more different. Gisele reportedly found what she described as a more honest and transparent relationship. She had a new husband, a new baby, and a quieter lifestyle centered around wellness, family, and emotional presence. Meanwhile, Brady remained tied to the football world. He moved into broadcasting with Fox Corporation, analyzing NFL games while still making mysterious social media posts that constantly fueled speculation online. Reports also linked him on and off to Irina Shayk, but many fans felt Brady still seemed emotionally restless, almost like somebody searching for meaning outside the only identity he had truly known for decades. Then came the moment that really caught people's attention. Earlier this year, Brady wrote a deeply personal message to fans explaining how he viewed his life choices, not as a quarterback, but as a father and provider. And honestly, the tone surprised a lot of people. The letter felt emotional, defensive, and almost like somebody trying to convince himself as much as everyone else. Brady explained that he believed part of being a great father meant showing commitment, sacrifice, and work ethic through example. In his mind, dedicating himself completely to football was his way of taking care of his family. He said the endless practices, pressure, preparation, and obsession with greatness were not selfish choices in his eyes. He believed he was teaching his children discipline, dedication, and responsibility through his career. And maybe that is what makes this whole story so heartbreaking. Because Brady clearly believed he was doing the right thing for years. He believed providing success, stability, and an example of excellence would protect the people he loved most. But somewhere along the way, the pursuit of greatness may have quietly pulled him away from the very life he thought he was building for his family all along. But then came the moment that really exposed the cracks in Tom Brady's confidence. In that same message to fans, Brady admitted something people never expected to hear from him. He wrote, "You will not be perfect. Nobody is. You will fail and disappoint people along the way." Those words hit hard because this is Tom Brady we are talking about. The man spent over 2 decades building an image around perfection, discipline, and refusing to lose. He built an entire career on proving doubters wrong and avoiding failure at all costs. But now, for the first time, Brady sounded like somebody finally accepting that even he could not outrun the consequences of his choices. Then came another line that stood out even more. He wrote, "Your actions reflect your priorities." And honestly, that sentence felt like the real confession hidden underneath everything else. Because when people look back at Brady's life, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Football always came first. The championships, the training, the comeback seasons, the obsession with greatness. Even after Gisele Bündchen reportedly begged him to slow down. Even after she wrote that emotional letter explaining exactly what was happening to their marriage behind closed doors. In the end, Brady made his decision, and now he has to live with what came after it. Meanwhile, Gisele fully moved on with her life. She found love again with Joaquim Valente, somebody who reportedly started as a trusted friend before becoming something deeper. Now she has a new husband, a new baby, and the peaceful family-focused lifestyle she always wanted. What makes the situation even more emotional is that she never publicly trashed Brady through all of this. She did not spend years attacking him online or trying to embarrass him publicly. Every time she spoke about him, she mostly wished him happiness and peace. But Brady still seems stuck trying to figure things out emotionally, almost like a man wrestling with whether the trade he made was really worth it. Yes, he has 7 Super Bowl rings. Yes, his legacy in football is untouchable. Yes, he made hundreds of millions and became one of the most famous athletes on the planet. But while those trophies sit locked away somewhere, his former wife has completely built a new life with somebody else. And for many fans watching this story unfold, that reality clearly hits Brady harder than any loss he ever suffered on the field. Especially after the moment his own children reportedly questioned why he allowed strangers to joke about their family during that Netflix roast. That situation seemed to force Brady into a level of self-reflection the public had never really seen before. Now fans notice every emotional social media post, every mysterious song lyric, every quiet message that sounds like somebody searching for meaning outside football. And maybe that is the real twist in this entire story. The greatest winner in NFL history is now dealing with the one loss he cannot fix with talent, preparation, or another comeback season. For years, Brady believed he could balance everything: legendary career, fame, championships, business success, and the perfect family waiting for him at home. But life usually demands sacrifices somewhere along the line. And according to people close to the situation, the thing that finally broke under all that pressure was his marriage. Today, Gisele appears to have found the calm, grounded life she always wanted. She wakes up beside somebody who reportedly prioritizes family and emotional presence. She has a new baby, a fresh start, and a completely different chapter ahead of her. Meanwhile, Brady still has the memories, the records, and the football legacy nobody can ever erase. But some victories come with a price people only understand years later. And now, at 48 years old, Brady finally seems to understand what that price really was. He spent decades chasing one more ring, one more season, one more chance to prove he was the greatest quarterback alive. And to be fair, he proved it. Nobody will ever question what Tom Brady accomplished on the football field again. What do you think really happened behind the scenes between Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen? Did Brady sacrifice too much chasing greatness, or was this ending unavoidable no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.